Hello and welcome to part 3 of the tutorial for making this coin purse. In the previous 2 parts I talk about what all is needed to make it, how to handle the pattern and how to string beads according to it. And in this part I will show you how to crochet these 2 parts, which we will then join together in the next videos. In the next videos I will also show you how to sew the lining and how to attach the frame. So here we go! So now we come to the actual crocheting. We will start with a magic circle and then we crochet in a spiral. Crocheting in a spiral is easier than crocheting with a turning chain. In some videos I call it a lifting stitch. When you look at a given pattern, there are some rules to help you decide whether to crochet it in a spiral or use a turning chain. I won't go into details here, I will explain it in more detail in a separate video. But in general, if you don't have a pattern in the edge rows, but just a sort of monochromatic background, you can crochet in a spiral. They are just pink beads. The pattern itself is not all the way to the edge. If you have a pattern that continues over the triangles, you should use a turning chain, otherwise you will end up with a pattern that jumps like that in the first and last triangle. But if you use a turning chain, it will look like this. I will show you how to do the turning chain in a future video. But if you are impatient, I use the turning chain to make this Christmas ball, for example, so I explain it there too. So I draw this pattern for a spiral crochet, no turning chain needed here, but if you want to use a turning chain, that is of course also possible. Now we can start with the magic circle. This is my end tail, this is my working tail. I take my end tail, I wrap it diagonally around my index finger, I cross the yarn, I grab my working tail between the middle and ring finger, I put the hook under the right thread, I pull the other thread and turn the hook at the same time to make a loop. Yarn over and pull through. This part with 2 threads is on the left side. And I will start crocheting directly with beads. So I prepare first beads. As you can see, we have 7 beads in the first row, each bead for 1 triangle. So I put the hook to this big loop, slide a bead down, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops. It's a classic single crochet with beads. We will use a single crochet for the whole purse because it would not work with a slip stitch. To the big loop again, slide a bead down, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over and pull through both loops. And continue the same way with all 7 beads. As you can see, I crochet my loops pretty loose. It's good to crochet the first row pretty loosely because that way you can see where to put the hook. Don't worry at all, it will look nice. To make the loop not so big, slowly pull this end to tighten the loop. We don't have to tighten it too much for now, we can tighten the loop later. As for the crochet itself, try to not to tighten the loops too much. Crochet loops rather loose because we want to work to lie flat, not to twist. So I prepare another beads. On the second row we will crochet 2 beads in 1 loop, 0 plus 2. 0 means no beads in a separate loop, plus 2 beads in 1 loop. So I remove it and slide these beads down. So put the hook to the first loop, right into the loop under 2 threads, slide a bead down, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops. Then put the hook to the same loop again, slide a bead down, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops. And continue the same way till the end of the row. So I put the hook to the next loop, slide a bead down, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, yarn over, pull through both loops, and again to the same loop, slide a bead down, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, and pull through both loops. Again the same to the next loop, and to the same loop again, here we apply the rule that we always increase the triangles at the end of each triangle. But since the second row of each triangle consists of only 2 beads, we are basically right at the end of the row. We apply this rule in all 20 rows, and you will see it better in the following rows. Whenever you don't know what to do or forget what to do, you can check the markers. I will give you one more tip to make things easier, which I've been applying since the end of the second row. When I crochet the last bead of the row, I normally put the hook to the loop, slide a bead down, yarn over, pull through 1 loop, and stop. Now you can see that I have 2 loops on my hook. Take a piece of yarn that is a significantly different color to the one I'm crocheting with. I'm gonna put the yarn in front of this loop, yarn over, and pull through both loops. That's how I marked where the row ended. It's very useful for checking that you are crocheting correctly. You can easily pull the yarn out, so I always move it to the end of the current row. So now when I crochet the next row, I will end at this exact marker I will show you. Prepare the beads for the third row. There are 3 beads in each triangle. We have 1 plus 2 on the paper, so we will work the first bead in 1 loop and then 2 beads in 1 loop, and again 1 bead in 1 loop and then 2 beads in 1 loop. Slide the beads down. So I put the hook to the next loop, slide a bead down, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, and pull through both, and to the next loop, and in the next loop there will be 2 beads in this loop. So slide a bead down, yarn over, pull through, and again to the same loop, and crochet another bead here, and we'll continue exactly the same way. So to the next loop, 1 bead to the next loop, and 2 beads to this loop, 1 and 2, and again 1 bead here and 2 beads to the next loop, to the same loop, one bead and 2 beads into the next loop. And again 1 bead to this loop, 2 beads to the next loop. We have 2 last beads left in the row, and as you can see, we have the last loop before the marker. Here is the marker, and this is the last loop before the marker. That means we are crocheting correctly, and we are crocheting 2 last beads into the last loop. Like this. First bead and to the same loop, and again stop. I pull it, and I switch my marker like this. Before I continue, I'm going to pull the antil in and tighten it up a bit more. I simply pull it. Okay. As you can see, so far it looks pretty weird, but don't worry and keep going. After a few rows it will all start to look nice, so don't be discouraged. We are still going to continue in the same way, on the same principle. So on the 4th row we have 1 more bead, so we work 2 beads each in a separate loop and then increase at the end of the triangle, so again 2 beads in 1 loop. And keep going the same way. So crochet 1 bead to the next loop, 1 bead to the next loop, and 2 beads to the 3rd loop. And still the same, 1, 1, and 2, one, 1, and 2 beads in 1 loop. When you crochet, you are probably tempted to look at the beads themselves to insert the hook to the correct bead, but it's clearer to just follow the individual loops. I don't really look at the bead side much when I crochet and just watch that inner side. I just check from time to time to make sure I've got the pattern right. I found that I hardly ever make a mistake this way. I've now crocheted 10 rows. This is what it looks like. You can see that it looks much better than at the beginning, and the pattern worked out nicely. The work lies nice and flat, so I remind you once again that you need to crochet rather loosely. Also, you can clearly see where the corners of the triangles are, and in each of these corners we are increasing the triangles. So if you've had some practice, you don't even have to count the beads, and you can easily see which loop to crochet 2 beads into. It's always this loop in the corner on the left. So this one, and here it's this one, this one. So once you get some practice, you will see that. If you are not sure yet, it's always good to prepare a given number of beads for one triangle in advance. Then you don't have to count the loops. For example, if you watch a movie while crocheting, you won't be distracted by the counting. I almost always do. And if I have a pattern like this, I don't even have to count, because I can see that when I have 2 or more of these pink beads side by side like this, that's the interface between the 2 triangles. So this is one triangle, this is another one, and so on. So I just slide them down like this. And I know that these beads are one part of the triangle, one side. Okay, so we'll continue crocheting in exactly the same way until we hit the black marker. And now 2 beads in one loop, into the same loop again. Prepare the beads for another triangle, slide them down, and continue exactly the same way. Okay, so we have worked all 20 rows. This is what it looks like from the other side. Now crochet 4 more rows so that we can sew on the frame. There will be a change in 2 things. Here, this side and parts of these 2 sides will be crocheted without beads. And at the same time, we are going to continue to increase at the corners. We will crochet 20 beads on each side of the triangle in all 4 rows. So where we don't have beads, we are increasing, and where there are beads, we don't increase. So these short parts are always made up of 3 beads, so I will crochet 3 beads and then I will continue without beads. So I remove my first black marker and I slide 3 beads down. And I crochet 3 beads. 1, 2, and 3. And we continue without beads and increase in these 2 corners. You can either count the individual loops, or you can just look at where we have the join between the triangles and always increase in that left loop. Increase here and here. So just a single crochet without beads. To the loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over and pull through both. And here in this loop I increase, so I crochet 2 loops into 1 loop. Increase again, so 2 loops into 1 loop and continue. Normally 1 loop. 1 single crochet into 1 loop, If you make a mistake, it doesn't matter so much because we hide the part without beads in the frame. We stop 3 loops before the end of the triangle. 1, 2, 3. And we start crocheting with the beads again. This is how it looks from the other side. There is 1 row without beads, and I'm gonna continue with the beads all the way back here. And remember, we are not increasing in the corners. If you hit the next marker and end up 3 beads from the end, 1, 2, 3, you got it right. And the second, third and fourth rows are worked exactly the same. That means 3 beads, then no beads. We are increasing here and here. Here we start with the beads again and continue here, 3 beads before the end, and do not increase anywhere here. We ran out of beads. We finished 3 beads, 1, 2, 3, before the end, which is correct. That leaves us with 4 rows on each side with no beads. So I cut the thread, I pulled the hook. I'm gonna put the thread on a big eye needle and hide the thread between the loops. Eventually, if you want, you can make some knots. And I do the same with this inner tail. And just for comparison, so you know what the thread consumption is, who bought threads from me on Etsy. Here's what the new thread looks like, 200 meters total, and that's how much thread was left after crocheting both halves of the purse. So now crochet the other half the same way. This is what it looks like when we have the 2 halves finished, and in the next video I will show you how to sew the 2 parts together. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like my tutorials. Check my Patreon or membership here on YouTube if you are interested in some premium features, and see you next time. Bye!